The wisdom of keeping certain things hidden. What if the greatest threat to your success is not failure, but revealing too much before the right time? We live in an age where openness is celebrated as a virtue. Every achievement is posted online. Every emotion is shared instantly, and every future plan is announced before the first step has even been taken. We are taught that visibility creates value, and that constant self-expression is a sign of confidence. But Carl Jung challenged this belief with a timeless, psychological truth. Not everything that matters should be exposed. Some of the most valuable parts of your life gain their strength only when they are protected in silence. Jung believed that the human mind is more than a collection of thoughts. It is a living, evolving world where identity is formed, purpose is discovered, and transformation begins long before anyone else can see it. This inner world is delicate. It cannot flourish under the weight of endless opinions, expectations, and judgments. Every time you reveal something deeply personal, you invite other people's fears, biases, and insecurities into a space that should belong only to you. The tragedy is that most people never realize this is happening. They mistake attention for support, approval for understanding, and conversation for connection. Yet every person listens through the filter of their own experiences. Your dreams may awaken someone else's jealousy. Your vulnerability may be interpreted as weakness. Your ambitions may be quietly discouraged by those who lack the courage to pursue their own. As Jung explained, every individual carries a hidden psychological force known as the shadow, the unconscious part of the personality filled with unresolved fears, envy, pride, and emotional conflict. Even those who genuinely care about you are influenced by this hidden side of themselves. Their advice, their reactions, and even their encouragement may reflect their own limitations rather than your true potential. This is why silence is not an act of secrecy. It is an act of wisdom. It is the discipline of protecting what is still growing. Just as a seed develops beneath the soil before becoming a mighty tree, your purpose requires time, patience, and privacy before it is ready to face the outside world. The strongest people rarely feel the need to explain themselves because they understand that real confidence does not seek permission or validation. It grows quietly from within, strengthened by self-awareness rather than applause. Throughout this video, we will explore 4 things you should never reveal to anyone, inspired by Carl Jung's profound understanding of human psychology. These lessons are not about becoming cold or distant from others. They are about learning how to protect your peace, preserve your inner strength, and prevent the outside world from influencing what should be guided by your own conscience. As you continue watching, you may recognize moments when revealing too much cost you your confidence, your opportunities, or your peace of mind. More importantly, you will discover that silence is not empty. It is a form of power. And the first lesson may completely change the way you think about trust, because it concerns something that most people reveal every day without ever realizing the consequences. Never reveal your biggest dreams too soon. The first thing Carl Jung would urge you to protect is your greatest dream. Not because your dream is too fragile to survive the world, but because the human mind is far more vulnerable to outside influence than most people realize. Think about how often people announce a new business before it exists, share their goals before taking meaningful action, or tell everyone about the person they hope to become. It feels exciting. The encouragement, the compliments, and the attention create the illusion of progress. But in reality, something dangerous has already begun. The moment your vision is exposed, it no longer belongs entirely to you. It becomes entangled with the expectations, doubts, and unconscious projections of everyone who hears it. Carl Jung believed that every meaningful transformation begins in the unconscious mind, where ideas quietly develop before they are ready to enter the world. This process is deeply personal. Like a sculptor carefully shaping a masterpiece behind closed doors, your mind needs space to refine its vision without constant interference. Yet when you reveal your dream too early, you invite voices that were never part of its creation. Some people will question your abilities. Others will remind you of every possible risk. A few may even appear supportive while secretly hoping you fail, because your ambition reflects the dreams they abandoned long ago. According to Jung, these reactions are often driven by what he called the shadow, the hidden part of the personality filled with fear, comparison, and unresolved insecurity. Most people are unaware of these unconscious forces, Yet they influence every conversation, every opinion, and every piece of advice. This is why even well-meaning people can unknowingly weaken your confidence. Their limitations become your limitations if you allow their voices to replace your own inner conviction. There is another psychological truth that makes early disclosure even more dangerous. Research in human behavior suggests that talking publicly about a goal can create a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain begins to experience the emotional reward of success before any real work has been done. Instead of fueling action, the praise satisfies part of your motivation, making it easier to delay the effort that actually matters. Jung understood this long before modern psychology explained it. He knew that true transformation requires inner energy, and every unnecessary word can drain that energy before your dream has the chance to become reality. History quietly supports this principle. The individuals who changed the world rarely spent their time announcing what they intended to do. They allowed their work to speak when the time was right. They protected their vision until it became too real to be ignored. This is not secrecy born from fear. It is discipline born from wisdom. Silence gives your dream room to grow roots that cannot be shaken by criticism or praise. When your purpose is firmly established within you, the opinions of others lose their power. So before you share your next ambition, ask yourself a simple question. Am I looking for encouragement? Or am I avoiding the quiet work required to make this dream real? Because the strongest visions are often built in silence, and by the time the world finally sees them, they no longer need anyone's approval. But if protecting your dreams is the first lesson, the second is even more personal because it concerns something that can silently destroy your peace if it falls into the wrong hands. Never reveal your deepest weaknesses to everyone. The second thing you must learn to protect is your deepest weaknesses. In a world that constantly tells us to be completely open, many people believe that revealing every insecurity, every fear, and every emotional wound is the highest form of honesty. They believe that if they show others their broken parts, they will finally be understood. And while vulnerability can create meaningful connections with the right people, Carl Jung understood that vulnerability without wisdom can become a dangerous form of self-exposure. Not everyone who knows your weaknesses will use that knowledge to support your growth. Some may use it to define you. Others may use it to control you. And some may simply remember your lowest moments long after you have overcome them. Jung believed that every individual carries hidden struggles within the unconscious mind. These hidden struggles are not signs of failure. They are natural parts of being human. Fear, insecurity, doubt, and emotional pain exist within everyone. The difference between a strong person and a powerless person is not whether they have weaknesses, but whether they understand and manage them. A person who knows their inner struggles gains power over them. A person who constantly exposes them to the wrong audience gives that power away. Imagine carrying a valuable key that opens the most private room of your mind. Would you hand that key to every person you meet? Probably not. Yet many people do this emotionally every day. They reveal their deepest fears to people who have not earned their trust. They explain their insecurities to those who have never demonstrated genuine care. They share their wounds with people who are only curious, not compassionate. Jung believed that self-knowledge begins with facing the hidden parts of yourself. But he never suggested that every person deserves access to those hidden parts. There is a significant difference between healing and exposing. Healing happens when you understand your pain, process your emotions, and transform your experiences into wisdom. Exposure happens when you repeatedly display your wounds without protecting yourself from unnecessary judgment. Many people confuse the two. They believe that telling everyone their struggles will make them stronger. But sometimes it only keeps them connected to the identity they are trying to leave behind. Your past does not need a public audience to become meaningful. Your pain does not need constant explanation to become valid. And your struggles do not need approval from others to be real. Some battles are meant to be understood privately before they are ever discussed publicly. Carl Jung often emphasized the importance of integrating the shadow, the parts of ourselves we prefer to hide. But integration does not mean broadcasting every hidden emotion to the world. It means developing awareness, acceptance, and control over those parts of yourself. A person who understands their weaknesses becomes difficult to manipulate because they are no longer controlled by shame. They know their imperfections, they accept their humanity, and they choose carefully who deserves access to their personal journey. Remember, not everyone who asks about your pain is prepared to handle the responsibility of knowing it. Some people ask because they care. Others ask because they are collecting information. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Your weaknesses are not something to be ashamed of, but they are something to be protected. The world does not need complete access to your struggles. It needs to see the strength that emerges when you overcome them, because the next lesson reveals something even deeper, a truth about your emotions that, if shared with the wrong people, can quietly give them control over your inner peace. Never reveal every emotion you feel. The third thing you should protect is the immediate expression of your emotions. This does not mean becoming cold, emotionless, or disconnected from others. Carl Jung never believed that humans should suppress their feelings. In fact, he believed that understanding emotions was one of the most important steps toward psychological growth. But there is a powerful difference between experiencing an emotion and allowing every emotion to control your actions and become visible to everyone around you. Most people react instantly. When they feel anger, they express it. When they feel disappointment, they announce it. When they experience fear, they search for someone to reassure them. They allow temporary emotions to become permanent statements about who they are. But Jung understood that emotions are messages, not commands. Every feeling carries information, but not every feeling deserves immediate expression. The mature mind learns to observe emotions before responding to them. It creates a space between the feeling and the reaction, and within that space, true wisdom is developed. Think about a moment when you were deeply upset and shared your thoughts immediately. Perhaps you sent a message you later regretted, spoke words you could not take back, or revealed information that should have remained private. In that moment, the emotion was temporary, but the consequences became permanent. This is why emotional control is considered one of the highest forms of self-mastery. Jung believed that a person who cannot understand their own emotional world will always be controlled by external circumstances. Their peace will depend on other people's behavior. Their confidence will depend on approval, and their identity will constantly shift according to what happens around them. But the person who develops self-awareness becomes different. They do not deny their emotions. They study them. They ask, why am I feeling this way? What is this emotion trying to show me? Is this reaction coming from my present situation? Or is it connected to an old wound from my past? This level of awareness transforms emotions from enemies into teachers. However, many people make the mistake of sharing their emotional reactions with everyone before they understand them themselves. They reveal anger before discovering the hurt beneath it. They reveal jealousy before understanding the insecurity causing it. They reveal frustration before recognizing the fear behind it. By doing this, they give others access to an unfinished version of themselves, and unfinished emotions are often misunderstood. Carl Jung believed that the unconscious mind contains memories, experiences, and patterns that influence our behavior without our awareness. Sometimes what appears to be anger is actually disappointment. What appears to be hatred is actually pain. What appears to be confidence may actually be a search for validation. Without reflection, we mistake symptoms for truth. This is why silence during emotional storms can become a powerful practice. A calm mind sees what an emotional mind cannot. A quiet moment can reveal solutions that a rushed reaction destroys. The strongest individuals are not those who never feel intense emotions. They are those who have learned not to become prisoners of those emotions. They understand that every feeling deserves attention, but not every feeling deserves an audience. Your emotions are part of your personal journey. They are signals from your inner world, and they should be handled with care. Protecting your emotions does not mean hiding who you are. It means respecting yourself enough to understand what you feel before allowing others to interpret it for you. Because once you master your emotional world, you protect something even more valuable, the image and identity you are building within yourself. And the next lesson reveals one of the most overlooked forms of personal power. Why your future plans should often remain silent until the moment they are ready to become reality. Never reveal your next move before it is complete. There is a certain power that exists in moving quietly, a power that many people have forgotten. In a world where announcing intentions has become almost as common as taking action itself, people reveal their plans, their strategies, and their next steps long before they have built the foundation needed to achieve them. They share what they are about to do, where they want to go, and who they want to become. But Carl Jung's understanding of human psychology suggests that there is wisdom in allowing certain actions to remain hidden until they are strong enough to stand on their own. The reason is simple. Unfinished ideas are easily influenced. A plan in its early stages is like a young tree. It needs protection from harsh conditions before it becomes strong enough to survive storms. When you reveal every step of your journey too early, you expose your direction to unnecessary opinions, criticism, and expectations. Suddenly, you are no longer focused only on achieving your goal. You begin carrying the weight of explaining yourself, defending your choices, and proving your decisions to others. Jung believed that much of human behavior is shaped by the desire for recognition. Deep within the psyche, many people seek confirmation that their choices are correct. When others approve of our plans, we feel encouraged. When they question them, we begin to doubt ourselves. This creates a dangerous situation where our confidence becomes dependent on external reactions rather than internal conviction. The person who constantly announces their next move often becomes trapped by the opinions they have created around themselves. They feel pressure to succeed in the way they described, even if their understanding changes along the way. But personal growth requires flexibility. A person must be free to adjust, learn, fail, and improve without feeling watched by an audience waiting for results. This is why many successful individuals prefer to work quietly. They understand that results create stronger conversations than promises ever could. There is a difference between seeking support and seeking validation. Support strengthens your journey. Validation replaces your inner certainty with the approval of others. Carl Jung believed that true individuality develops when a person learns to listen to their own inner voice rather than constantly searching for confirmation from outside. This process, which Jung called individuation, requires courage. The courage to follow your own path even when others do not understand it. Your next move represents your personal evolution. It is the bridge between who you are today and who you are becoming. Not everyone needs to see the construction process. People admire the finished building, but they rarely understand the foundation beneath it. The same is true with personal transformation. Others may notice your success, but they will never fully understand the silent battles, difficult decisions, and private sacrifices that created it. This is why protecting your plans is not about hiding from the world. It is about giving yourself the freedom to grow without unnecessary pressure. Let your actions speak when they are ready. Let your results introduce you before your words have to, because there is a unique confidence that comes from knowing you built something real without needing constant approval along the way. However, there is one final thing that many people reveal without hesitation, something far more valuable than dreams, plans, or achievements. It is the foundation of your personal power. And once others gain access to it, protecting your peace becomes much more difficult. Never reveal your personal values to those who do not respect them. The fourth and final thing you should protect is something that shapes every decision you make, every relationship you build, and every direction your life takes: your personal values. Your values are the invisible foundation of your identity. They represent what you believe in, what you stand for, what you refuse to compromise, and what gives your life meaning. Yet many people reveal these deeply personal principles to those who have never earned the right to understand them. They explain their choices to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. They defend their boundaries to those who benefit from crossing them. And slowly, without realizing it, they begin seeking permission to live according to their own truth. Carl Jung believed that one of the greatest challenges of human development is becoming an individual rather than simply becoming a reflection of society. Throughout life, people are constantly influenced by family expectations, cultural beliefs, social pressure, and the opinions of others. Many never discover who they truly are because they spend their lives trying to become who others want them to be. Jung called the process of discovering and integrating your authentic self-individuation. It is the journey of becoming whole, aware, and connected with your deepest nature. But this journey requires something many people struggle with: the ability to stand alone when necessary. Your values are personal. They are not a debate that requires approval from everyone around you. When you constantly explain why you choose a certain path, why you have certain boundaries, or why you refuse certain behaviors, you give others the opportunity to challenge parts of yourself that should remain stable. The truth is, not everyone will understand your priorities because not everyone shares your vision. A person who values peace may be criticized by someone who thrives on conflict. A person who values growth may be misunderstood by someone comfortable with staying the same. A person who chooses discipline may appear strange to someone who follows temporary desires. This does not mean one person is right and the other is wrong. It simply means different people are guided by different inner worlds. Jung understood that a psychologically mature person does not need constant agreement from others. They develop an inner authority, a quiet confidence that comes from knowing themselves deeply. They do not become arrogant or disconnected. They simply stop allowing every outside opinion to control their direction. This is one of the most important lessons of personal growth. The moment you know who you are, you no longer need to convince everyone else. Many people lose their peace because they spend too much time explaining themselves. They explain why they changed. They explain why they left certain situations. They explain why they no longer accept behaviors they once tolerated. But sometimes silence is the strongest answer. Not every person deserves an explanation. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves a response. Protecting your values means protecting the core of who you are. It means understanding that your identity is not a public discussion where everyone gets a vote. The people who truly respect you will not require you to constantly defend your principles. They will recognize your authenticity without demanding that you abandon it. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that the journey toward becoming whole requires courage. The courage to face yourself honestly and the courage to protect what makes you unique. Because when you give everyone access to your values, you risk allowing people who do not understand your journey to influence where it leads. But when you protect them, you create something far more powerful. A life guided by inner clarity rather than external pressure. And now that we have uncovered the 4 things you should never reveal too easily, there is one final question we must answer. How do you know who actually deserves access to your inner world? Because the answer to that question determines whether your silence becomes wisdom or isolation. The difference between privacy and isolation. After understanding the 4 things that should be protected, an important question remains. Does protecting your inner world mean you should trust no one? Should you hide everything, build walls around yourself, and walk through life completely alone? Carl Jung's answer would be no. True psychological strength is not created through isolation. It is created through awareness. There is a profound difference between protecting yourself and closing yourself off. One comes from wisdom. The other comes from fear. Jung understood that human beings are naturally connected. We need relationships, meaningful conversations, and emotional bonds to grow. The goal is not to become unreachable. The goal is to become conscious of who has earned the privilege of reaching you. Many people make the mistake of believing that because someone listens to them, that person understands them. But listening and understanding are not the same thing. Someone can hear your words without understanding your heart. Someone can know your story without respecting your journey. Someone can have access to your life without truly valuing your presence. This is why emotional intelligence requires more than openness. It requires discernment. The wise person does not judge everyone as dangerous, but they also do not assume everyone is safe. They observe patterns. They notice how people treat information they have already been trusted with. They pay attention to whether someone celebrates their growth or secretly competes with it. They notice whether someone respects their boundaries or constantly tries to break them. Trust is not created by words. It is created through consistent actions over time. Carl Jung believed that self-awareness allows us to see people more clearly because we are no longer viewing them only through our own desires and expectations. Sometimes we want someone to be trustworthy so badly that we ignore the signs showing us otherwise. We give access to people because we hope they will value what we share, not because they have proven they can handle it. But maturity means understanding that trust should be built, not automatically given. Your inner world is valuable. Your dreams, emotions, fears, and beliefs are pieces of your personal identity. They deserve to be shared with people who approach them with respect, compassion, and responsibility. The right people will not make you feel exposed after opening up. They will make you feel understood. They will not use your honesty as a weapon. They will protect it as a gift. The final transformation, protecting your inner world. At the end of this journey, the greatest lesson is not simply about what you should hide from others. It is about understanding the value of what exists within you. Carl Jung's deepest psychological insights were never about becoming distant from humanity or creating walls around your heart. They were about becoming conscious. They were about realizing that your mind, your emotions, your dreams, and your identity are not ordinary things to be displayed without thought. They are the foundation of who you are becoming. When you learn to protect them, something powerful begins to happen. You stop searching for constant approval. You stop explaining every decision. You stop allowing every opinion to shape your direction. And slowly, you begin to build a relationship with yourself that no outside influence can easily destroy. The modern world often measures strength by visibility. It tells you that the more people know about you, the more successful, connected, and valuable you become. But Jung understood that the deepest strength often develops in places nobody else can see. A tree does not become powerful because everyone watches it grow. It becomes powerful because its roots become strong in silence. The same is true for human beings. Your character is developed through private decisions. Your confidence is built through battles nobody witnesses. Your wisdom comes from experiences that only you fully understand. This is why protecting your inner world is not about hiding from life. It is about creating enough space for your life to become meaningful. When you stop revealing everything, you begin listening more carefully. You notice your own thoughts instead of constantly seeking reactions from others. You understand your emotions instead of immediately releasing them. You focus on your journey instead of comparing it with someone else's path. This is where true self-mastery begins. Jung believed that every person has a journey toward becoming whole, a process of integrating different parts of themselves and discovering their authentic identity. But this journey cannot happen when you are constantly performing for the world. You cannot discover yourself while trying to satisfy everyone else's expectations. At some point, every person must turn inward and ask, who am I when nobody is watching? What do I truly believe when nobody is approving? What choices would I make if I did not fear judgment? These questions reveal the person beneath the mask. They lead you toward a deeper understanding of yourself. The 4 lessons we explored are reminders that your dreams, your weaknesses, your emotions, and your values are not weaknesses to expose. They are parts of your identity to understand and protect. Your dreams need time to grow. Your weaknesses need wisdom to heal. Your emotions need awareness before expression. Your values need strength to remain untouched by outside pressure. When you master these principles, you begin to move differently through life. You become calmer because you no longer feel the need to prove yourself. You become stronger because your confidence comes from within. You become wiser because you understand that not every person deserves access to your deepest thoughts. The most powerful people are not those who say everything they think. They are those who have the discipline to choose their words carefully. They know that silence can communicate confidence, patience, and emotional intelligence. They understand that some things are more valuable when they remain protected. So the next time you feel the urge to reveal every detail of your life, pause and ask yourself, am I sharing this because it serves my growth, or because I am seeking approval? That single question can change the way you interact with the world. Because your peace is valuable. Your vision is valuable. Your inner world is valuable. Not everything precious needs to be displayed for everyone to appreciate. Some things become powerful precisely because they are protected. And perhaps the greatest wisdom Carl Jung left us with is this. The person who truly knows themselves does not need to constantly prove who they are. They carry their strength quietly. They walk with purpose. And they allow their actions to reveal what their words never could. In a world that demands constant exposure, choosing silence can become an act of freedom. Choosing awareness can become an act of power. And choosing to protect your inner world can become the beginning of your greatest transformation.